Alright, what's up, y'all? uh, and welcome back to another video. I guess let's just get right into it. We're just gonna talk about, NASCAR's problem with the double yellow line rule, and in my opinion, the best way we can fix it. And I mean, let's just, right here, let's just read the rule as it's stated in NASCAR's rule book. If in NASCAR's judgment you go below the double yellow line to improve your position, you will be black flagged. If in NASCAR's judgment you force another car below the double yellow line, you may be black flagged. And the immediate problem with this rule is, it's subjective. It's kind of similar, it kind of reminds me of, NFL's the catch rule with, back in 2014 and the disaster with the Des Bryant. Was it a catch or was it not a catch? It was a catch, but it wasn't actually a catch, according to NFL's rules. Another problem NASCAR has, and, they get grilled for this, constantly, is their inconsistency. And NASCAR, that's been a major problem with them is, they'll call something one way and then, they'll call it a different way. So I want to kind of go through, I have like 5 examples up here of, this yellow line rule that turns out differently every single time. So the rule was originally implemented in 2001, to help not wreck race cars, which was, the goal. And did it help with that? I'm sure yes. In some cases there are, and also in some cases, as we're going to go through here, maybe not. So this is the first one. This is 2003, so a few years after the rule was implemented already. And also, hopefully I don't get in trouble for showing this stuff. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. I'm like reacting to it. But go subscribe to this guy, I guess. So anyway, so 2003 Aaron's 499. Dale Earnhardt's gonna go. NASCAR's original ruling on this call was that Dale was forced below the line, and in my opinion, he wasn't forced below the line. There was plenty of room there, and he had a big enough run, regardless, that he was probably gonna get by them if he had just stayed on the racing surface. But there was no call here. No one was black flagged. They said Matt Kenseth forced Dale Jr. below the line. Obviously, if you're in NASCAR's shoes, you're not gonna black flag the racing god himself, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in front of all the fans in Talladega. There'll be riots in the street. That's a big no-no. So obviously they can't do that, and so that's why that turned out that way. So this was the first example. No black flags for anyone. Now let's fast forward 5 years just to the infamous 2008 race with Tony Stewart and Regan Smith. And to this day, I mean, Regan Smith's gonna fake high. He's gonna go low. And as per the rule, the rule states, you can't go below the yellow line to advance your position. Do I think he was forced below the line right here? Yes. And so do a lot of other people do. But again, NASCAR decided, what, we're gonna black flag the 01 Regan Smith, and they took his win away. Okay. And that's part of the problem with this rule is someone's always gonna feel like they're on the wrong side of it. And that's the problem with having rules in the first place. If there was no line rules or anything, it's just clear cut, winner take all. There's no judgment. NASCAR has no discretion in ruling, and it gets rid of the headache and a lot of questions from the fans. Did he do this? And it gets rid of the whole process of reviewing it completely, which is a big bonus. So now we're going to fast forward a year, less than a year later. I guess this was the spring race. This is running through Brad Keselowski's mind right here. Obviously, below the yellow line is lava. Don't touch it. Don't go below it, no matter what. because, you know, Regan Smith got gypped out of a win. And that's exactly what he does here. And Carl Edwards, you know, either thinking that he's going to go below the yellow line because he keeps coming down on him. Either that or he's threw a terrible block that had no chance of ever working. And he spins himself across Brad Keselowski's nose. And has a vicious wreck that thankfully no one was hurt. Okay, well, if the goal of the rule in the first place was to get rid of, you know, the crashing, well, that's obviously not helping because of that rule, there was a wreck. A pretty horrendous one at that. So, no one was black flagged this time. No one was black flagged this time. Regan Smith was black flagged for going below the yellow line here. Fast forward to last year's, exactly a year ago, almost. Right here, I'd say this is basically a mirror image of, you know, Ryan Blaney, or I mean, Regan Smith and Tony Stewart's situation. Ryan Newman tries to throw a block on Blaney. He has his nose there. He gets below him. No black. There's no penalties assessed here. And Ryan Blaney ends up going down and wins this race. Okay. Well, based on how today's race was called, the 17 should have a penalty. The Tony Stewart should have a penalty, and the 6 car should have a penalty. But, you know, NASCAR decided not to. Okay, and today, you know, NASCAR was pretty clear about it today. You know, they penalized Joey Logano twice, once for this move and then once earlier in the race. And they also penalized Chris Buescher. So, I mean, NASCAR was really consistent with that call today, but, you know, it basically completely changed from previous years. And again, you know, here, Chase has a run, and he's going to go make a move. Being Joey Logano, he's going to block everything, you know. And he goes for a block that, you know, had no chance of ever happening. I don't know why. And then, you know, I love this draft package they have right now, but, you know, these cars have so much momentum, like, it's almost impossible to block. So now, Joey Logano gets a penalty for, you know, basically chopping the 9 off and making him go below the yellow line. Not only does he have a penalty now, but it puts him in a horrible situation because he had to lift, and now he's getting swallowed by the pack and ultimately ends up causing a big crash because, you know, cars were checking up and whatever. Again, with the double yellow line, the whole reason it's implemented is to cause less crashing, which, I mean, look at here, there's tons of torn up race cars. Kyle Busch's day's over. So yeah, I don't know. And now, if we go to the finish of the race, based on how today's rules were, you know, how today's race was called, I totally believe Denny Hamlin deserved this win. But, you know, and this is going to be the problem with this rule going forward if they continue to have it, is, you know, moves like this are going to be made where, you know, Denny knows if he gets a fender in there, the guy to his outside has no choice but to either lift and let him have the position, which isn't racing at all. You just have to lay over and let the guy pass you. That's BS in my opinion. That puts him at a disadvantage. So Denny knows they either have to lift, they're going to wreck themselves, or he gets to get out of a free jail card and gets to cut the whole last corner and pass everyone because of how NASCAR called the race today. That was a perfectly legal move by him. And so that's going to be the problem, is guys are going to take advantage of this rule. It reminds me of, you know, James Harden in the NBA. He's really good at drawing fouls because of how the NBA calls their contact rule or whatever. And so you're basically, you know, putting the guys to the outside at a big disadvantage, and guys are just going to start sending stupid moves that have really no chance of working, or there's no room for them to ever happen, and you're going to end up with this every lap, just guys going below the yellow line. So how we're going to fix this is not only, you know, just get rid of the rule completely. of, you know, just get rid of the double yellow line rule completely. And there's two ways this could go. Either NASCAR could just build a wall all the way around, because, you know, if there's a wall there, obviously you can't go below it, which, I mean, doesn't make a lot of sense. We're gonna have, you know, 55 car pileup because there's nowhere to go, you know, there's nowhere to escape if there's a wreck. And, you know, another problem with the double yellow line rule is, you know, this was back in 2018, you know, when they're, again, discussing it again in 2008. But, you know, a major problem was kind of the grass. Well, now Talladega, if we go back here, there is no grass, you know, down here anymore, except for in the tri-oval. And obviously, you know, the tri-oval, you can't get rid of the grass, because if we're going to get rid of the double yellow line rule, they're going to be, and this is all paved, they're just going to be going down here and cutting the tri-oval completely. It'd be like the Phoenix dogleg, the new dogleg at Phoenix, which is one of the most horrendous things I've ever seen, and I hate it. So obviously a wall around the track doesn't work, and we got to do something about this grass. So why don't we just build a wall and have like Bristol pay for it or something? That's a funny Donald Trump joke for you. But just have a wall go around the grass like this. I mean, it's cheaper than building a wall around the inside. Kind of protects the infield guys, and you still kind of have some sane racing. You know, they're gonna police themselves, and if they do something stupid, they're gonna hit a wall. And obviously, you know, have it rounded off here, because you don't want to get impaled by a pit road wall if you know, you crash coming out off 4 or whatever. So, you know, I think that's the best way, you know, to fix this issue that NASCAR has. And, you know, it seems to have a lot of traction going forward. And, you know, Dale Earnhardt was pretty imminent about it getting removed, and, you know, it was a pretty big controversy today. So hopefully, you know, NASCAR takes a look at it and watches my video and listens to me and pays me some royalties for the good idea. That would be ideal. But, you know, the next best thing, I guess, if we can't do that, is if you would just subscribe to my channel. You know, we're 1 away from 69, which would be a new record. So we're 1 subscriber away from that. That would be awesome. And if you enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe, like, and, you know, comment what you think, and if you have a different idea. I hope I got through everything I wanted to talk about here. I don't know. Kind of rambled on. It's 3 in the morning. I've been kind of studying and reading different stuff, you know. I mean, all night and preparing for this video, and I couldn't fall asleep, so I made this instead. But yeah, hope you guys liked it. Be sure to subscribe. I think I've said that like 4 times already. I'm pretty tired, so not really the sharpest of mind right now. But yeah, thanks, and I guess we'll see ya later.